We all know that dealing with difficult clients can drain our energy, impact our work, and as freelancers, it can affect our bottom line. Today, I'll be sharing some practical tips for you to help you avoid some of those problematic clients and spot some of those red flags before you sign a contract or ever ask for payment. I'm Nora Conrad. I am a content creator and a freelancer, and I have been doing this for over a decade. I have had my fair share of unique personalities. I want to share some of the tips I've learned along the way to help you find clients that you absolutely love working with. Let's jump straight in. The first thing we want to do is to define your ideal client. We want to think about the type of client that you truly enjoy working with. We want to consider their industry, their budget, their communication preferences, their project types, and even their style. Having a clear picture of who your ideal client is will help you identify who is not falling into those categories. Finding your client green flags are going to be unique to your process and your kind of work, but these are a few that are common across any industry. Number one is clear communication. Finding a client who responds promptly to messages, who can communicate their needs directly and effectively, are both good signs that the client's going to be able to work well with you and let them know if they are unhappy with something. Having well-defined goals also fits into that. Having a clear and realistic expectation of the project and being able to clearly communicate what their goals for the project are. Also, having a reasonable budget. Being able to work within your scope of work and agree to the payment terms are both really important for just working well together and trusting each other. General respect for your expertise is also important for most clients. You want them to understand that you are the expert and that they have hired you on to work with them. If they are rude or indirect, it can alter that client relationship and it can cause some issues. Having someone who acts professionally, is organized and prepared for meetings, and overall just maintains some respectful boundaries is all really good signs as well. But you probably already know all of these things, so let's talk about a way that you can start to onboard clients that meet more of these green flags. We need to develop a screening process. This is a process or a series of questions that you can ask a potential client ahead of signing a contract. These will help you identify some of those green flags and maybe identify a few red ones as well. Any of these screening questions can be added onto your existing ones, or they can be expanded upon if you need to go more in depth with some of these. Questions like this can include the project budget, the goals, timeline, previous experience working with freelancers, and anything else that comes up. This process will help you gauge if the client is actually a good fit or not, and oftentimes how they actually answer the question can give you a lot of insight to the client's personality. Setting clear expectations with your client early on is another great way to avoid any issues further down the line. It is crucial for you to develop those boundaries early on, identify project deadlines, the budget, and all of the project deliverables before you ever agree to a contract or start signing documents. This way you both are going into those things on the same page and you know what to expect from each other. Outline your working hours. Let them know how you prefer to communicate. Put all of this stuff into your contract. Not only will this help with your transparency, but it also prevents misunderstandings later on and just ensures that both parties are on the same page throughout the whole scope of work. I also always encourage people not to hesitate to ask for references. This is an email template that you can use to ask for references from your potential clients. Most people now have worked with some kind of freelancer in some regard, or if they don't have any freelancers that they can ask for, even if it's just a previous employer or someone who can just speak to their personality. This can also give you insights into their working style, their personality. It can save you a lot of trouble down the road, but it can also help you work with the client much easier and understand some of their background a bit better. If you're on the fence and you can't quite determine if the client is a great fit or not, consider starting with a trial offer instead of committing to a long-term project. This is another email template that you can use to offer up your services on a shorter period of time. It can help you assess your client's communication abilities, their feedback style, and just your overall compatibility with each other. Not only do many clients actually appreciate this offer, but a lot of times it's a great way to know if you just don't work well together, even if no red flags showed up during that initial consultation. And now the important part, establishing a red flag system. It's important to trust your instincts when it comes to spotting these warnings and these red flags. A lot of times our instincts are correct and it's okay to go off of that. Some common red flags that have come up, not just for me, but for many freelancers, include vague project details, like being able to unclearly describe the scope of work or explain what the deliverable should be, unrealistic deadlines, basically not really being sure how long things should take, or demanding quick turnaround times can be a huge red flag. Any reluctance to actually sign the contract, refusing to sign them in a formal setting, or just unwillingness to pay a deposit at all can all be warning flags that maybe their intentions aren't great. It can also be a warning sign for poor communication. Failing to respond to messages on time or ever, or providing just unclear or inconsistent information are both red flags that should not be ignored. There are a ton of other red flags, but let me know in the comments below, what are some red flags that you've experienced? Let's share some of this knowledge and help our fellow freelancers. Lastly, maintaining ongoing communication and having regular check-ins can help with a lot of the client issues that many of us face. It can help you stay aligned with your client and address any concerns often and properly. By identifying your ideal client, creating a healthy onboarding process, and then knowing when to identify red flags, all can help you find much healthier client relationships. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and check out some of our other videos for freelancer and content creator essentials.